Hi guys, Elaine here. Today I want to talk to you guys about Yelp. Now I'm sure that a lot of you guys are wondering whether Yelp is legit or not. Especially if you run a business, whether that be, a small business, maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you run a service-based business, whether that's a salon or maybe a construction business. So I'm going to give you the rundown of my take on my multiple experiences with Yelp through the company I used to work for, which was a fairly decent sized company based off of construction, painting, and renewable energy. So you have the business standpoint as far as a service-based business, slightly, I would say, medium-sized company, to a lot of the small businesses I've worked with. So I run my own coaching and consulting business where I help people build their brands and communities online. And so I've had a good amount of branding and social media clients that run small to mid-sized businesses as well. So I've gotten a lot of feedback from them as well, ranging from, let's say, hairstylists to other service-based companies. Now, I also have experience coming from a solopreneur aspect as well. Although I do run different businesses, I have personally used Yelp as a coach and consultant. So that's just my name, Elaine Huang, on Yelp. And so has my partner who runs a coaching and consulting business as well. So you have the range of businesses ranging from a solopreneur, like one woman show, one man show, like a smaller based business such as a salon, to a slightly bigger business with 100 employees or so. So I'll take it back to first Yelp as a whole, right? It was supposed to be a platform where people can go in and write reviews, so other people seeking food recommendations, restaurant, coffee shops, salons would have some place to go. And so I would say I started using Yelp at, let's see, how old am I now? I'm 32. So I started using Yelp, I believe, at the age of 18. So I've been using Yelp for a solid 14 years as a consumer. Obviously I got a little addicted from 18, 19, 20, early 20s. I spent a lot of time on Yelp. So I definitely had my elite badges every single year. So I was a Yelp elite because I would write reviews for every single restaurant, coffee shop I went to. And then eventually I was like, okay, well, what's the point? Sure, I got invited to a bunch of elite parties. They're kind of networking events, but I was like, okay, it's pretty time consuming writing Yelp reviews. And although it's really helpful for people, I was like I'm moving on. I don't really I don't really care about the elite status thing. I'm just gonna write an occasional, usually once in a blue moon, review if I felt really, really strong about a business, either because I absolutely loved it, maybe the person requested a review, maybe they didn't, or if I really had something to say about it because it was I don't know, unsafe, unsanitary. So over the last 10 years, I have not really written very many reviews on Yelp, but I still definitely use it as a consumer. I don't know about you guys, but for my foodies out there, I know we love to look at photos when we're deciding between a brunch spot or maybe an anniversary celebration place. So I know for me, I always look at Yelp for recommendations, especially if I'm going to get my nails done. BT dubs, I've done these myself because we're in quarantine here in New York. And so no longer getting my every 2-3 week shellac / powder dip nails anymore. But that aside, I want to really target this video based off of the business side. So if you're not a consumer, you're not just going onto Yelp to look for recommendations, but really if you are looking to advertise and pay Yelp. Even if you don't pay Yelp, I'm gonna let you know what's up. So obviously, if we have a business, we want to list it on as many places as possible, like Google, Facebook, Yelp, blah, blah, blah. And so the moment you list something on Yelp and Google, your ass is gonna get called. Like, they are going to hunt you down like no other. The moment you try to decide, okay, let me put my name and my business on Yelp and see if I get any leads, your ass is gonna be targeted. They're gonna call you until you answer, until you buy from them, whatsoever. And so I've heard this many times before. I've experienced it at the companies I've worked at and the clients I've worked with. And, at the company I worked at, they were the medium-sized company with like 100 employees. I was already told, we dealt with them, right? That the moment we started paying as a company, yes, we did get a ton of leads, right? For painting, construction, solar type projects. And we got pretty decent reviews. FYI, you cannot, having a Yelp account doesn't get you any more reviews, FYI. They sell you on, oh, you'll be seen. You'll be seen compared to all the other people, right? So if you're in the service-based business, you'll be seen above your 129 stylist competitors in the area. If you're in a construction company, you're a handyman, you're a plumber, you'll be seen. So when someone looks up plumbing or broken toilet, you will pop up first. So that's what they'd sell you on, right? Same, if you're a coach, there's it's such a saturated market. There's hundreds and thousands of coaches. Do you really want to be hidden at the bottom of the list? I'm telling you now, because they're going to tell you this shit when they call you. And so at that company I worked with many years ago, when we paid as a company, yes, we did get more leads. It's still up to you, right, to sell the business. And you would think that paying, they wouldn't kind of delete all your good reviews. But what happened was some, I don't know if it's an algorithm thing, but basically we went and we paid Yelp. We got more leads. We also got more reviews. And when we stopped paying them, because we're okay, it's kind of expensive to pay. They have different tiers, right? We're doing pretty good now. We got a pretty solid business. We got a solid customer base. We got some pretty solid reviews. Let's just not pay Yelp anymore. We have a pretty solid profile. Well, guess what? The moment we stopped paying Yelp, our shitty reviews, our 1-star reviews, and sometimes we don't even know who these 1-star reviews are, by the way. 1, 2-star reviews were showing up at the top, and so many of our 5-star reviews, 5 stars, went away. And we're WTF, and so we reached out. They're oh, it's nothing to do with that, blah, blah, blah. But it was weird that the moment we stopped paying, the few shitty reviews showed up and all the great ones disappeared. And we're okay. Anyways, because I personally did not pay Yelp when I worked at that company, it was just things that were discussed during our exec meetings. I will not go too much into detail of the bigger, medium-sized business, but I'll move forward onto other business owners I've talked to before moving on to finally myself and my partner, who has had a very recent experience with Yelp. So I am always very, very curious. Every time I go to a new business, or I've been going to a business for some time, I'm always striking up conversation. I ask these business owners, majority small business owners, because I love supporting small businesses. So I'll ask them, right, whether this is at a salon, a waxing place, a restaurant, a tea shop, a coffee shop. I'll ask them how they do their advertising. Clearly, with a branding and marketing background, I'm always very curious in asking those questions. And so oftentimes they'll tell me, oh, I use Groupon. That's another video for another day, BT dubs. I use Groupon, I use local ads, blah, blah, blah. I use Yelp. And I have rarely, if ever, heard a positive thing about Yelp aside from the fact that it gets them more exposure. Like, I've heard a couple instances, and Yelp does give you more exposure. However, the trade-off for that is shit ton of money spent, and the leads are not always good. And it's like if you do some sort of Yelp deal, right? Like you do some sort of Yelp deal, like where you're a customer and you pay like $50 for $100. It's like, sure, you might get like a one-time, like kind of gimmicky, you might draw that customer in for one time, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to retain that customer. So similar with Groupon. So basically with all these businesses, so many of them I've talked to says you basically pay to play. You pay to play. When you pay, you get the leads. Some of the leads are relevant, some of the leads are not. But when you stop paying because you think it's too expensive and it's not really worth the dollar amount you're putting in, like you're not making that profit back from a lot of the businesses I've talked to, they decide to pull out, right? Pull out of Yelp and decide not to pay anymore for this premium account, which I believe they have like 3 versions of it. And so, you know, after they pull out, it's like nothing. It's like birds, it's like crickets. And they have experienced the same thing with getting their reviews deleted, right? Getting the reviews deleted during the time frame of having the paid account, and definitely after. It's like they see these like bad reviews coming up. Bad, or the bad ones like surfacing right up to the top, and then like the 4 and 5 star ones going away. And I've literally talked to so many people about this. Now, moving forward to me already knowing all of this, about 6 months ago, when we first moved back to New York, right? We were back in California, moved back to New York. We were like, okay, both of us, I've had my business for about 5 years now, my coaching consulting business, and my music media platform. So most of my businesses don't really make sense on Yelp, right? My music media platform is all about like curating events, but it's very specific to the dance music industry. So it doesn't make sense for me to like advertise on Yelp or anything. I have my greeting cards company that I recently launched, but it's more of an online thing. So there's no like physical location. It's not a service. So it doesn't make sense for me to advertise on Yelp. However, my branding and coaching business, that one did make sense because yes, I work with a lot of different clients from all over, but because we just recently moved back to New York for myself, my partner had just moved here for the first time. I was like, like we would both be interested in expanding our clientele, our client base in the New York area. Because how Yelp works, in case some of you guys were wondering, with online businesses, online services, or a coaching platform of some sort, is Yelp is location based. So if you wanted to have your brand and your business advertised in California and New York, you're gonna need 2 accounts. I keep doing 2 hands, but it's not 4, it's 2 accounts. You would need to pay for California and pay for New York. And if you want to advertise in Las Vegas or Miami, you have to pay for those places too. So FYI. And so when we moved back, we were like, okay, let's see what we want to do. And so my partner, he listed his business free, right? Like he listed his business because anyone is free to list their business. You don't have to pay Yelp, but they're coming after your ass, FYI. So the moment he listed, he got just bombarded with calls. He also knew Yelp was very questionable, but because they were so persistent, he was like, you know what, F it. This person sounds so promising, I'm gonna give it a try. And I was like, okay, babe. And so I was like, okay, like it's sure. Like if you're saying you have a hard cutoff period of like 1 month or 2 months, what's, I don't know, $400 or $500 a month. But if you really do the math, imagine businesses that pays the $300, $400, $500 a month because they have 3 different packages. One is, I have to look back at the numbers and maybe I'll like do another video with more of the statistics and some of my emails and some of the things I logged actually that shows they are not responsive. They tell you to email them and all this stuff and they never give you a straight answer. So there's no like paper/email trail, but they always try to get you on the phone, which there's no like proof to what the salesperson promises you that doesn't end up getting delivered. And they often end up saying it's you got to call the customer success team. And I'm like, I'm not working with the customer success team. I was told I was going to work with you and that you were going to make sure I get this, and this. So he went with it anyways. And he paid for, I believe, I want to say like a month and a half or so. Month and a half, 2 months. For the entire first month, he got a total of 1 call. He got 1 call. He did end up meeting with this person and they had a coaching session, but that is not because it was just like that one like random lead. It doesn't cover the cost of me paying for this package for a month and a half, 2 months, right? So I'm like, hey, you got to call Yelp and tell them like, hey, what's up? So he called them and, the sales rep was just kind of like, didn't really have anything to say to him. Said like, okay, like, we got to change this, and this. Like maybe something's not working with your website. Like, okay, well, why didn't you tell me this sooner? Because when the salespeople, and no, you guys will know if you guys have had a call with them or will, they'll tell you like they'll make sure everything's the best, the photos the best, the words, the keywords are the best, and they'll give you all the things. So it's like, why did it take over a month for you to not do anything? I had to call you, or I had to chase you down for you to then tell me, oh, well, this sucks and this sucks. So let me just keep an eye out and like, let's change these things to make sure it works. So he was like, okay, I'll give it another shot. Nothing happened. Literally, he got 0 other calls, right? So that was it. Like he stopped paying for it. And then it was my turn. I knew all of this, by the way, but because I knew all of this, I kind of went in also saying, okay, so they say he's a new business, right? Maybe the content wasn't as great on the website. I know that personally, I've been working on my website and my content for some time already. In fact, like I know for the people that's gone to my website or like has somehow been driven back to my website due to another podcast or a blog I was on, oftentimes they have called or signed up for a discovery call or like reached out in some shape or form, whether that's direct email, signing up for my email list, or some other form of contact. So I know that Yelp wasn't going to be able to use that same excuse on me. So I signed up for my Yelp account as a New York business, and the calls started coming, and I knew exactly what they were going to say to me. And so I'll have to hand it to my salesperson, Sophie. She's a great salesperson. She knows exactly what to say and address all my concerns of all my previous experiences with the last company I worked at, with all the customers I worked with, and with my partner. And she addressed all of those. And she was like, I can't speak for any of those people and their reps, but I'm going to be your rep. I don't think she did that like over the phone, but she was like, but I'm going to be your rep. And I want you to make sure that I'm the person that you're working with, because I'm going to make sure that those things don't happen. I'm going to be on top of it, because if you don't make money, I don't make money. I was like, dang, girl. Like I have a sales background, sales and marketing background. So I was like, okay, I hear you. Don't think I truly believe you, but I'm going to let you know right now that if in 1 month, like I'll go for the middle package. So there's like the smaller package, middle, and the big package. I'll go for the middle package. And because I knew I don't do individual coaching calls, I only do like monthly, like a minimum of 3 months. I only do like a 3-month thing, which told me that even if I got like 1 or 2 like customers from this, it would be fine for me to pay for the Yelp. And I think I was so curious. I was really curious. I was like, let me experience this for myself. And I knew that I was even gonna like do a video or some sort of blog or some sort of content around this. Because yes, I've heard many things, I've experienced some things to the second degree, but I wanted to experience this for myself with my business. And so after multiple calls, I didn't let her have her money easy, my rep. I grilled her on every single thing. I was like, what about this? What about the bad reviews? And she was like, I can promise you now, we don't take off any bad reviews. We don't have to do with that. Like if you pay us for a month or 2 months or 3 months and you got all these awesome reviews, they won't go away. Like they won't go away just because you don't pay us or whatever, like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So I start paying Yelp and I start getting reviews from customers I already had. I already had them. And they range from new Yelp users to semi-Yelp users, meaning like they write reviews once in a blue moon, but they have their profile photos, to consistent Yelp users. So what happens is these reviews show up and I'm paying at this point, and some of them gets hidden. And I'm like, why are my reviews getting hidden? Like, how am I ever supposed to build trust with my audience if all my customers that are going to choose to leave me reviews is getting hidden or like deleted or something like that? And they're like, oh, you can't, like, I don't know, like the system goes. And I've had so many conversations and none of them, like every time I email, they try to call me back, right? And then they try to like direct me over to customer success, which is like the back end, right? So it's like my sales rep sold me that she wants me to work with her, but then she doesn't end up being the one that actually helps me handle any of the issues. So it's like, what's the point of that if you being here for me and working with me is just simply selling me the package and not actually helping me with my account? So that is one of the biggest and most frustrating things. It's not even like we're a three-way with customer success. It's like, she's like, you need to call customer success. And when I do email, because they do say email is an option, there's the 3 options you can talk to Yelp. One is chat, but chat is like you end up waiting for forever. One is call, which you also end up waiting forever and you don't necessarily get the same person, right? And the third option is email. I like email because I have been burned so many times before and you need documentation, right? So I like email because it shows me what that person says and what I say. I like that type of paper trail transaction. But when they just respond to the email saying, hey, I tried calling you, like at some random ass time, or like, hey, like we got this email, like they respond like a week or 2 weeks later and says, I just tried calling you. It's like, okay, well, you can't just say I just tried calling you. It's like when I listed these things and I said, can you please give me an email response with these answers? I wanted the paper trail. Yes, I did. But that never happened. It was always like getting on a call. It was chasing. It was waiting. It was like phone tag. And I never got a straight answer aside from they are not responsible for anything. So reviews aside, whatever, right? Like the reviews aside, here's the other part that just bugged the crap out of me, right? Aside from the sales rep not being the one that handles your account, the reviews just magically disappearing and them saying there's like no legitimacy to them. And by the way, I did screenshot this. Maybe I'll include it in a future piece. Is I literally asked them, what makes a review legit? Because clearly you guys deleted reviews from new users, understandable. In between users, sure, you can debate that. And consistent users. Why would you delete those ones? They never gave me a straight answer. They said it's a software they use. It's a software. Like, okay. So that was that. And FYI, by the time that I stopped paying Yelp, they had taken one review, they've taken, after I stopped paying Yelp, it turned into 0 reviews. So all my reviews, I believe I had about, it wasn't a ton, it was roughly about, I want to say 7 to 10 reviews. It went to 0, like 0. And so that's that. The final piece that I'll touch on is the ad money, the clicks money. And so when Yelp sells you a package, there's multiple things you pay for, right? You pay for like a little boost to like organize your photos nice. It's like all these little things, right? And then you pay for the ad package. These are the clicks, right? The clicks that are generated from people's like searches, and if they click on your profile, then you have to pay that amount, right? And they say the range will be from like, let's say $300 to like, $500 to like $750. So you can pay for bigger packages and pay for more clicks. But here's the part that really doesn't sit right with me. You are guided through to set the keywords with your rep. So my keywords were obviously branding, marketing, social media, right? Like business development. Like my keywords were very much centered around marketing and branding, because I coach people on building brand online and working on their social media presence and all of that. So I went through this very, very clearly with my rep, and that's it. That was that. So she helped me set it up and all of that. And then shortly after, I started getting like all these leads. So opposite problem, right? This is a different problem than my partner had. He got no calls. I got a ton of calls. I also got a bigger package than him, like as far as the ad spend. I started getting all these calls. A few of them were relevant. They were looking for like a coach. And some of them made sense because it was more like kind of career coach, life coach, which is sure. That is like one area of what I do. And then like the business branding stuff, right? But then I started getting all these other requests, like marriage counseling. And I was like, that's definitely not what I do. And I just started getting these weird calls and weird messages. Like it was weird. I started getting stuff for table setting. I'm like, event planning. I'm like, sure, I do events for my other business, but that has nothing to do with my current Yelp account. It was like event planning. I got Reiki, like Reiki healing. I'm like, definitely not that. Like I just got the weirdest things. I got website building. I'm like, nothing to any of this stuff, right? Like, yeah, it was just weird. Like I would respond. I was like, hey, like I don't do table setting, like, or event planning. I definitely don't do marriage counseling or Reiki healing. And so I reached out to my rep. I was like, and this happened on multiple occasions. I was like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, like, it must be like these keywords that's in your ad thing. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I was like, so we went and I made her run me through everything. I deleted everything that was vague, general. Oh, I got accountant to do taxes. Like those are some leads I got. I was like, I can't do taxes. I don't even do my own taxes. So I was like, why are all these words in here? And she was like, oh, I don't know how it ended up in here. So the more words you have, the more clicks you pay for, guys. FYI. Plucked out all the words possible. I really narrowed it down to just straight up like marketing, branding, like I would just narrow it down to like literally very, very few words, under 10 words. Little while later, happens again. And by now I know how to go to my AdWords. I'm like, how the hell did all these words get added back in? And different ones as well. Tax preparation and shit. Like, I'm like, what the So at this point, I'm just like, I have had enough. Because yes, I got some relevant leads, I got some good discussions, all of that, I got one customer from there, but compared to the pool of leads I got, which were majority not relevant, it just did not make sense for me to pay for it. And the fact that they just said, I don't know how the words got there, I don't know how the reviews were gone, you got to call customer success, I just wasn't having it anymore. So I did this for a total of 2 months. In the beginning, I didn't really document everything, but towards the end, I did. I screenshotted everything, I saved my emails, but unfortunately, there was not a lot that I got from them via email, just mainly my emails, talking to a wall, and then 2 weeks later being told I was called, and so that's it. Like, so ultimately I end up spending like $1,000 something on Yelp for those 2 months, but I will say it is dirty as hell. It's dirty, it's scammy. I feel bad in a way. Like, I love Yelp as a platform for consumers, and I'm sure it does help certain businesses like get leads. But the business practices are just not great. Sold promises that are way bigger, way grander than the results that are delivered. If you've had different experiences and you just rave, you think Yelp is out of this world for your business, please let me know. Hit me up, comment below, send me a message, because I just haven't heard of such great things, and I have not experienced such great things. And I think it's not great business practice when you are sold by your rep that they are gonna make this seamless, incredible, gonna make sure you make money because that's how they make money. It's like, and then they push you to call customer success, and the people never really respond. It's never the same people. They never respond to the emails, even though they say you can email them. And there's no paper trail in that way. The review situation, the ads, the fact that they put in words, your keywords, to keep charging you, because now I'm not just getting charged for people clicking coaching or marketing or business development or social media. I'm getting charged for event planning, tax preparation, Reiki, marriage counseling, and all this other crap that I don't do. Well, yeah, that racks up your bill. That racks up your your clicks bill or whatever. And so that is it. I'm sure there's so much more that I could rant on about, but I'll leave it at that. Yelp is an amazing consumer platform, and it sucks because businesses are kind of reliant on that, right? It's like, I use it to figure out where I'm going to do my nails, where I'm going to get my facials, even though I'm very picky. I use it to figure out where I'm going to get my hair done, where I'm going to eat food. I Yelp, I really do, but it just sucks for the business owner. I would say the majority of business owners, it just sucks. So that is it. I hope that there's a better way. I really hope that Yelp is more transparent. I really hope that there's a better platform. And even if there were a better platform, it's like, I'm so used to using Yelp as a consumer that it just sucks that it's so great for the consumer, but just sucks balls for the business owner. I wish there was a way to support business owners better on this platform. And that's all. That's my review / rant / breakdown of how Yelp works. I will keep using it as a consumer, but I'm not digging it from the business standpoint. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are liking it, give me a follow, subscribe, and I will have many more videos coming up soon to expose the truth about many of these companies. And sometimes the truth is great, but most of the time it's not. So stay tuned. I definitely will be doing a short one on Groupon. as well. It's not horrible. I don't have as many negative things to say, but just I'm creating these videos really as a way to support business owners and entrepreneurs that has that question, right? If you have all the marketing budget in the world, F it. Spend it on Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Yelp, whatever, Google, like ads, whatever, like influencer marketing, affiliate marketing, that's fine. But I'm mainly creating this because I'm sure there's a lot of small business owners that has a decent or okay budget or a very small budget, and some entrepreneurs that maybe doesn't even have the budget but gets convinced into doing or spending the money to do something like this. And that's why I'm creating these videos. I'll have a series out relating to this, like different advertising platforms, even like health insurance as an entrepreneur, right? A lot of us that work for ourselves, like our company doesn't pay for our health insurance. So there's a lot of videos that I'll be creating that's geared towards entrepreneurs, do's and don'ts, based off of my own experience and a lot of the people in my network that I've like really dived deep in with on all of these different topics. So stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, bye.
And I just wanna